World Championship for round 11, Spa-Francorchamps. I'm from the Racing GP, also known as Stevie Sherbets. Joining me in commentary box this evening, we've got Front Row Racing RI, also known as Rachel Brooks. Evening, Ray. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing very well. How's yourself?
I'm not too bad. Now I'm awake, shall we say?
Oh, you've been sleeping all day?
I've been sleeping all night and all day. You know what I'm like. Also with us this evening, we've got our pit lane reporter, Adam Hill, also known as Front Row Racing NW. So then, Adam, down in the pit lane, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. A little bit of news. We've got Rising Lads Red Bull team. Stocky's taking a bit of time out, probably for the rest of the season. So he's going to be replaced by It's Hammer Time and Landmark Racing Sauber. Duo Finn's unavailable. So we've got a reserve driver, Mr. Hamilton.
Wow, there we go. Instant news. And so Stocky then out for the rest of the season. That's unfortunate. We do know that it is for personal reasons. He has got good reasons. So we wish you all the best in what you're doing, Stocky, and hopefully see you back on the circuit next season. Question of the day. I'm going to jump this in right now because I want to know, Ray and Adam, question of the day: what's your favourite circuit on the race calendar and why? So, who's first?
I'll go first. It's going to be Spa. It's close between Spa and Monza, but it will be Spa just because it's a proper racers track, as me and you discussed. But I like the challenge. I like the unpredictable weather. It just adds an element of fun.
Yeah, definitely does. It's definitely got its own microclimate, and I'd probably have to agree with you on that one. So, Ray, what about yourself?
Mine's is Hungaroring.
The one that was at last week. I should have had this question last week then. And why the Hungaroring?
I just love driving around it. It seems to be one of my strongest tracks. When I was racing, it was. Now I don't race. It's nothing's my strongest track now, but I like it. I don't know. There's something about it I just like.
It's a bit like a go-kart track for Formula 1 cars. That's probably a good way to put it across. But it is a nice circuit. So anybody that's watching the live stream, question of the day, and I'll come back to it later on. Let us know in the comments, what is your favourite Formula 1 circuit and why? So, moving swiftly on, we're going to have a look through the teams that we've got up on the screen. We'll see which drivers are in and which drivers are not with us yet. But it does look like we've got a full grid. So, Flaming Dragons Mercedes of Temp Fear and Dan Evs, they are with us. Rising Lads Red Bull of Bartman and It's Hammer Time. We've got Sensen Racing Williams of Killer Corkin and Yarson. Up the line, Ferrari of Overdykink and Jamie James 16. He probably wishes he didn't put the 16 on there when he was 16 years old, because I'm pretty sure he's not 16 anymore. Team Freedom McLaren, GT5 King and Conzo 1993. No one in the Force India or Toro Rosso. There's the commentary team in the Lotus. Then we have Landmark Racing Sauber of Mornay 77 and the reserve driver of Mr. Hamilton 44. And then down at the bottom there, Mode Red Marisha of Kev 187 and Front Row Racing DP. And they'll be looking to repeat the great race weekend. Midweek race actually it is. It's a Wednesday, but we'll call it weekend. As they did last week. So let's have a look back into the lobby and see if everyone's clicked go. Looks like most people are ready, and it is pretty much bang on 1:30. We've got a full lobby. Let's get this event underway. If I press the correct buttons, it would help a hell of a lot. There we go. So the time's ticking. Ray, so predictions then for this race that we have in Spa. What's your predictions?
I don't know. I'd like to see what qualifying throws up first, and then predict the race.
Ooh. Well, what I can say is there are some drivers that are new to the wheel, and it's not a circuit that's going to favour them being on the wheel and the pedals around here. Now, I think there's one driver that may have been struggling, but we'll come to that in a moment, because we are going over to the circuit now. We are heading over to Spa-Francorchamps. Is that the pit lane microphone I hear in my ear?
Yeah, it is. We have a possible lap time could be 1:44.700.
Wow.
Which, if it's dry, could be possible. We've got the drivers looking for a sector 1 time of 29.7, a sector 2 time 46.8, a sector 3 time 28.2, with a pole lap hopefully 145s, low 145s, maybe a little bit high in the 145s, but you never know, depends on the weather and the track conditions. Kev 187's got the race lap record of 1.756. So let's see if we can carry that on for this season and possibly beat that time.
Well, you say that, but I do know that Ray caught up with Kev 187 earlier on today, and Kev didn't sound too optimistic. What did he have to say to you, Ray?
He said he's only done about 30 laps of practice, so I'd say he's done about 60.
Just to put that into some sort of perspective, how many laps would you say a normal driver, a regular driver would do at a circuit like Spa for practice?
They'd be doing at least 5 hours a night, roughly.
Yeah.
That's what I would be doing, unless I'm absolutely rubbish and I need to take that long.
So you'd be looking at doing, a good few hundred laps worth of practice. Yeah. Back-to-back sessions
a night.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, so I'll tell you what we're on board at the moment with. It's Hammer Time 44, and Adam. It's Hammer Time 44. What did he have to say to you in the press room earlier on?
Right, well, he's hoping to qualify in the top 5, but every driver will be wanting to do that, especially at Spa where you got the long Kemmel straight. You need to get some good air between you, some good space, you don't get slipstreamed. He said he's not got an unbelievable setup, but he could be just saying that, putting a bit of misinformed information out there, so other drivers think he's struggling and then kill it in the race, you never know. He's got good speed in qualifying, especially the middle sector, which is a great help for any driver.
Now, he was a driver that has recently switched over to the wheel, but I do believe he's reverted back to the pad for this event. But he gave us a reason for that. Did he elaborate on that?
Well, I know he doesn't want to have a wet race. Simple as he struggles in the full wets. He's not too bad on the inters, and he's improving. But I think it's harder on a wheel, like you've mentioned previously at this track. So I think it's a sensible thing for him to stay on the pad for this track, because microclimate around Spa is just crazy. You never know what you're going to get.
That's very true. And talking about the climate around Spa, Ray, do we have a weather forecast?
The skies are clear. It's all clear. Good to go.
Good to go. Wow. Well, I'm going to say what I always say, but I normally forget, and that is we will have a look back at the weather forecast towards the end of qualifying session, because it has been known to change, especially around Spa. Now, his Hammer Time is on his flying lap. He's set a sector 1 of a 30.3, but he does have a car ahead of him that I'm hoping is not going to hinder him, and he doesn't want any dirty air, especially when he's going to be approaching Pouhon. But he's got a corner to go around before he gets to Pouhon, and it's a corner with no name, so we're going to call it the corner with no name. And there's a question we should have had. What should we call the corner that's got no name? Please comment in the comments.
Well, surely its name is No Name. If I had a child and called it No Name, it'd be known as
It's No Name. It's like Symbol. Yeah. Like Prince was Symbol. But is it a Ferrari that's ahead of him? That looks like the car ahead of him has kept out of the way. A sector 2 time for 48. He's on the prime tyres. Yeah, he's on. That's what I was just looking at that and thinking that just seems a little off the pace, and it is. It's a couple of seconds off the pace, but it's because he's on the prime tyres. Now he may be wanting to qualify on the primes. We'll just finish this lap with him, and just to see what time he is going to set. And it is a Marussia. They're ahead of him. So he crosses the line, and it's a 1:47.3 provisional pole, but that could be because he's the first car to cross the line on a hot lap.
Okay, I got a couple of comments on the favourite track question on our YouTube channel, which you should be viewing now and getting your little answer to your favourite track and why. We got Charles Hall saying Belgium, it's Jenson Button's favourite track, and Hindle has to be Suzuka, quick and flowing circuit.
Oh, interesting. It is a nice circuit, that one. Just noticed that Overdijking has now set provisional pole. He must have been following around not far behind the car ahead, which was its hammer time. So Overdijking, who was it that met up with Overdijking? I think it was Ray. Overdijking, what did he have to say to you?
Overdijking, 2 minutes to try and remember.
Well, while you're looking for your notes for Overdijking, we'll talk about his teammate. His teammate Jamie James was somebody that I caught up with, and all he had to say was, I need to beat Dom so I can be the #1 Ferrari driver. That's all James wants to do, is beat Dom. Yeah, controversial, but you know, when you look at who should you be looking to beat on the racetrack, your first person you want to try and beat is your teammate. Then you try and beat everyone else, but you know, your teammate is your main rival. You've got the same, you know, machinery underneath you, so you know, it's there for you, isn't it? So Ray, what was it that Overdijking had to say?
He says he does it, well, he's saying we, so I think he's saying about Jamie James as well. We don't want to start on pole. Our aim is to start second and fourth because no one wants to start on the inside. Anything beneath a podium finish won't do for us looking at the championship. Well,
talking about, he's just entering the pit, so, but yeah. I'm just going to jump in there for a moment before you say any more on that, because the championship is getting extremely tight, and I'm on board currently with DP. I just want to elaborate on the championship because I have the championship table with me. Unfortunately, I can't bring it up on the screen for the viewers, but what I would like to say is about how tight this championship is getting. Now, yes, unfortunately, we have lost Stocky from the championship for the rest of the season, and I'm looking for my notes. They are here. I have found them. Temp Fear is currently leading the championship with 146 points. Now, a few weeks ago, DP was struggling, but he got the victory last week. He's now only 28 points behind Temp Fear, so he's right back in it. So DP is right back in it. And to give you, you know, then the next one up is Jamie James, 18 points behind Temp Fear. So, you know, sorry, I do apologise, that's not 18 points, that's 22 points, because Overdijking is 20 points, then Kev187 is only 7 points off Temp Fear. So 28 points between DP in 5th place and Temp Fear in 1st place. So all to play for, and we're only just past halfway in the season. Looks like DP's out of fuel and on the way back to the pits. I will look for another driver that's on a hot lap. But, Adam, DP, what did he have to say about his event this weekend?
Okay, yeah, just getting to his notes. I just want to say something. I know it's not about DP, but I noticed through the drivers' comments that not a lot of people want pole position, and that might be surprising to the viewers that people don't want to get pole position, but it's the simple fact is, the Camel Straight, it's just such a long straight, you get slipstreamed. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps. It'll get to you.
That's very true. That's very true. And sorry, before you actually do mention about DP, I did cut Ray off a moment ago while he was telling me about Overdijking and the championship. What was the finishing comments on that there, Ray?
They were looking for the championship. They were wanting a podium. But what I was going to say, although he doesn't want to start on the inside, it's just as dangerous starting on the outside. Although he's got that runoff area at turn 1, if there's somebody coming steaming down, you're going to get taken off. So I just go for pole position or second place if not wanting the pole position because of slipstream, and just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, this could be one of those situations where the best place to start might actually be at the back. And just thinking about that, there's a few cars we've not actually seen on circuit yet, so just have a quick look at the timing. And we have got Kev 187 on pole at the moment with a 145.4, DP in second, Tempfear third, Overdyking fourth, Jamie James fifth, Hammer Time sixth, Bartman seventh, Mornay in eighth. Danevs has not set a lap time yet. Ray, do we have some race director notes sent to us about Danevs this week? If you're talking to me, Ray, you've got your mute button pressed.
I so have. Dan Evans has a qualifying ban for an unsafe return to the track from the last event. The penalty would normally be abuse of sportsmanship, 20-second time penalty, but as he failed to finish the race, an unsportsmanship penalty carries over as a qualifying ban. So he's got to stay in the pits, I think, until race and just load up his
setup. Yeah, well, it might be a godsend for him because it means he's not in the firing line going into that turn one. But let's just hope that he's not the missile going into that turn one. But just looking at the timing board that was there a moment ago, there's quite a few drivers that haven't set a time yet. Now I'm wondering whether that's because they've been invalidated, or whether they're just actually thinking tyre wear here could be quite severe, and they'll just want to sit in the pits and not put a lap time in. So if that does happen, we're going to have to be just a little bit wary of the cars that could be behind us on the grid. Overdyking has set a sector 1 of a 30.0, sector 2 of a 47.4. It's up there with what could be one of the fastest times, and is wanting either second or fourth. And is still fourth,
Racing DP, Ted Kravitz just gone past me, nicked the notes, can't seem to find them now, so he's benefiting from someone else's comments and making me look like I'm an idiot.
Mr. Hamilton 44, who's reserving this week for Johu Finn, I set a sector 1 of a 30.2. He is on the prime tyres. I'm just wondering whether at this stage of qualifying he's looking to actually qualify on the prime tyres, which may not be a bad thing to do around this circuit. Ray, has the weather forecast changed at all? If you could have a look at the weather for us, Ray. And Adam, have you managed to find out off Ted Kravitz yet what Mr. DP said? And if people are talking to me, they've got the mute button pressed.
No, I wasn't talking. The weather, it's looking cloudy in 20 minutes time, but it says remaining dry with clouds coming and going.
So it's already gone from being clear to getting a little bit more cloudy, so it could change for the race. You know, the drivers may be planning.
What's your view on qualifying? Do you reckon it's worth setting a lap? I think so on this track.
I think if you're a Formula 1 driver, you always want to put it on pole position, and not just necessarily for the stats to say I had so many pole positions in my career, but it's the fact that you can say I was the fastest. And if someone's not qualifying, it's either because they are shy of their pace, or they're a mid runner to a back runner and they're thinking, oh, I don't know about turn 1, I think I'll just play it safe. And if you watch tomorrow, you'll probably find that's me. So, did that answer your question? Kind of in two different ways.
Yeah, a bit confusing, but there we go.
So what would you do, Adam? Would you qualify, or would you be cautious and keep the tyre wear to a minimum?
If the weather's going to be dry for the race, by doing qualifying, I'll stick the primes on and I'll set a fast time on it and get a little bit of practice in option, and then stick the options on and set a time so I've got a good stint out of the prime, so I know what's going to happen in the race.
Yeah.
And then set time.
Your microphone just breaking up a little bit towards the end, so just might want to unplug, plug back in, and we'll come back to you in a minute. But we're on board with Mornay 77, and he's set a Sector 1 of a 31.2. Not the fastest of times for Sector 1, but I'm wondering whether he's got a bit of an extra downforce on there to get a good Sector 2. Now, Mornay 77, when he spoke to Ray earlier on today, he was quite happy in a way because he's got a friend next to him in the team. Ray, would you like to elaborate on what Mornay had to say?
Yeah, he's looking for a bit of fun to race alongside his Danish teammate this week, and I actually haven't seen who his Danish teammate is.
That's because he's in disguise. It's the one that you normally get confused with. It's Hammer Time 44. It's Mr. Hamilton 44. He is there somewhere. I did notice earlier on that Konzo left the session, and I don't know whether he came back in again or not. I didn't see whether he rejoined. Mornay has set a Sector 2 of a 48.2, and he's just coming around the last corner, trying desperately to keep it on the circuit and getting the power down. Is he improving on his time? I don't think he did, or if he has improved on his time, he's still in 10th place. So we've got just over 2 minutes left of the session. We'll have a quick look back at the timing board. Kev's still there on provisional pole. It's Hammer Time is up into 3rd place. Temp Fear is 4th. Over Dykink's been pushed down to 5th. And then Jamie James 6th. They're a bit further down than what they would have wanted to have been. Bartman, who we've not come to yet and not seen on circuit yet, so we'll jump on board with him. He's on an out lap. So Bartman, I've just pressed the wrong button, I do apologise. Bartman, Adam, what did Bartman have to say in the press room earlier on today?
I'm with a Kev win. That's all he thinks. He predicts a Kev win. Nothing about how he's expecting the race to be for himself, how he's going to struggle, or how he's actually going to cope. So he's gave everyone's prediction that Kev's going to win, but I think personally Bartman will have a good midfield battle. Yeah,
he'll probably be there in the midfield.
The start-finish straight, sorry, but I think there's a wing sitting on the start-finish straight.
That's rather unfortunate. That's a very strange place to lose your front wing. I'm wondering whether that's someone that's got the power down a bit too early out, and not too early, but a bit too heavy out the last corner. Only a few seconds left to go in this session, or should I say before we get booted out of the commentary up to the commentary box. Kev 187 is out on a lap. He's set a very good Sector 1 of a 29.9. He is on provisional pole, so we're going to go and find who could possibly beat him. Ray, if you could keep an eye on Temp Fear, because he does have lightning speed round here, even though he doesn't particularly want to set a pole time. And Temp Fear is out on circuit, so yeah, you set a good Sector 1. So you let us know, Ray, what Temp Fear gets up to, and I'll keep an eye on DP, because they'll be wanting to attack Kev.
Okay, well done. He's just coming down to the last chicane, as to speak. He's done a Sector 1 time of I'm getting booted.
Oh, we got
just
booted.
As I was about to say.
Well, this is where it all becomes unknowns, but I'm on board with DP, and if he goes down to 3rd place, we know that no, Temp Fear's not improved, because DP would have gone down to 3rd place. DP's pitted, he knows he's not going to beat his lap time, so we'll see if we can get on board with another car out on circuit that could potentially do some damage up at the front. Jamie James, 2 more corners to go, 1 corner to go. Just got the DRS to open up, the power to get down. He's decided not to open up there. There's the DRS, and that's 7th place. Bartman in 8th, and he is on the prime tyres. So Bartman's going to be looking to try and improve his time. He's right in the middle of Sector 2 at the moment. Do we have anybody else out on circuit? We do. We've got Over Dykink. Whereabout is that on the circuit? That is Pouon. So he's in sector 2 as well. He's currently in 5th place. And Overdyking did say he wanted to be the position 2 or 4th on the grid. So this will be interesting to see where he manages to put this.
Oh, Ryan's GT5 King's lost it, and into the barrier he's lost his front line.
We just caught that in the background of Overdyking's broadcast cam. He is there, sat in the wall, unfortunately. And hopefully that didn't put Overdyking off too much. And that's what can happen when you're pushing just that little bit too hard. Hopefully it won't affect his nerves for the race. So Overdyking's coming towards the line. DRS about to open, power down, 5th place, and I don't think it changed, but GT5 King is currently sitting 6th, which is quite a good position for GT5 King. Not saying he was not expecting to be further down than that, but it's a good solid position is what I mean to say. So GT5 King entering the pits. Ray, any comments from GT5 King before the event?
I'll check my notes and get back to you.
Okie dokie. So just to confirm, Kev 187 on pole with a 145.4, and it's extremely close between him and DP in 2nd place, Temp Fear in 3rd. Wow, all in the 145.4s, and then we got It's Hammer Time in a 145.7, Overdyking with a 145.8. And just looking, Bartman's on the prime tyres. He's going to be a driver to keep an eye on as we get towards the pit stop strategies. And looking down further, so drivers that did not set a time was Mr. Hamilton 44, unfortunately. And I think Konzo, I don't know whether he got back in or not, but if he did, he'll be on stock setup.
GT5 King didn't want to speak to his fellow Scotsman.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I've got a feeling, you know, he might have spoken to me, but I've forgotten what he said. But I'll try and find out. So this is it then. Time for, I tell you, it's looking cloudy. Time for Spa, Front Row Racing World Championship, round 11. And if it gets any darker and cloudier, we're going to need headlights on these cars. So we've got the grid order just passing us by on the screen. A bit quick for me to read out, but it's there for you to see. Heading over onto the grid. So the grid girls have been cleared. We've only got the engineers and the drivers on the grid getting their cars ready for the event. Yeah. Your microphone's breaking up on us. Sorry to tell you, but it was. If you're still talking, it's still breaking up. You might want to unplug it, give it a blow, a bit of clean. Yeah, come out the bomb shelter. But here we go though. We're on the grid. The lights are on. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Lights are going to be going out. They are out. The drivers are away. Down. They all head down into turn 1. And we've got Ferrari going backwards, and they did say they didn't want to be having collisions at turn 1, and I've got a feeling that was Jamie James that was backwards into turn 1. So getting up at the front, who do we have in first place? It's DP. And he's got a rear gunner of Kev 187 just keeping everyone else at bay behind him. That must be Temp Fear in 3rd place, followed by Overdyking in 4th. I'm just going to say, at this point, if anybody, any of the engineers could give us a weather report at any point, that would be brilliant, because obviously we don't have weather reports in our commentary. Temp Fear very wide, nearly caught the wall, coming out of No Name, going into Pouhon now.
Just took over Dan Eves. He's sticking it out the outside of Pouhon, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The Pouhon corner.
The Pouhon corner.
Dan Eves coming back, and they've got, who's that? Mr. Hamilton 44 as well, his teammate. He's there to help him out. He's keeping our Williams at bay.
Well, I'm not sure what happened at turn 1, but it's Hammer Time seemed to have lost out a fair bit back there as well. Adam, at any point you want to test your mic, just butt in, and if we can hear you, we'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm just on board with Kev, and he looks like he's trying to get past his teammate DP, but I don't think it was a good start from him. Starting on pole and then slipping back to Dave, so he's trying his best to get past him. He was on a high fuel mix on the Kemmel Straight, still couldn't get it done.
Well, there you go. Oh, we've got collision.
Time.
Yes, I saw that. I was going to say collision. Surely one's going to spin around, but they seem to keep going in the same direction. They're going to be no, I was going to say side by side up Eau Rouge, but they managed to think about it sensibly, and Mr. Hamilton decided to be a little bit cautious.
Got a good run on here. Jason's gone for the... Oh no, he's made contact. They've still kept going. That was close. That could have spun them both into the wall there.
That was unbelievably close.
There was a bad communication there between Kev and Dave. Kev put it on the high fuel mix, was going to slipstream go past Dave, but it looks like they touched and it allowed Temp Fear in second place. Oh
dear, now what we have got is Kev 187 with Overdyking right up his rear. I say that, but it looks like Overdyking just ran a bit wide at Pouon and has had to leave off the throttle a little bit, and that gap just opened up again. Kev's looking extremely quick through that second sector, and we'll soon find out that... Go on.
Dan Evans and Mr. Hamilton, they were side by side going round the corner. There's so much going on track. I'll keep an eye in the back while you're up at the front.
I'll keep an eye on these front four, and just as they go round, do you know what? I've been memorising all these corner names, and Blanchimont is the one corner I normally never forget, and I just nearly forgot it. I was just going to say, as
Dan Evans, Mr. Hamilton, and it's Hammer Time 44 all diving into the last chicane. Are they going to get through without a wee bit? Oh, there's a wee bit of contact, sorry, as we're coming out, putting on acceleration.
Have they all kept it clean there, right?
They've kept it clean. They're down into turn one. It's Hammer Time, and Dan Evans has lost out to it's Hammer Time 44.
What we've got here is
Kev taking control of Temp Fear's little messy exit into the last corner, and that allowed Kev to get into second place.
Yes, Kev is definitely made hay while the sun shines there, but Temp Fear does now have Overdyking up his gearbox, and I can just imagine what Kev's going to be saying to DP. He's going to be saying, come on, get a move on. I've got two cars here, desperate. They're trying to overtake me. We need to get on with this and disappear.
Jamie James is up to 11th place. He's looking to get a move done on. And I don't know what the corner the name is. On Jason, couldn't quite get it done. Is he going to try it for Pouon?
Well, the corner before Pouon is the corner with no name.
The one before that.
The one before that is Rivage. I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if Kev 187 lines DP up for an overtake towards Blanchimont, because that's where Kev seemed... I mean, I said earlier on Kev seemed fast through Sector 2, but he seems even quicker in the straights. I think DP might be letting him through the side-by-side going around Blanchimont. They've kept it clean. I'm not sure if that was DP letting him through or whether he had nothing to say about it and Kev was just doing it. But that was a brilliant... Dave's locked up, gone straight on. He's going to lose out positions there. He's got to have to give some places back. He's rejoined the track. He did cut the last corner, but I'm sure he was aware of that, and he's got Temp Fear up along the side of him. He'll be hoping... I can
tell you that Kev was informing Dave of the cars behind Kev, so it put a bit of pressure, but Dave was struggling in the middle sector. He looked like he had a bit of oversteer. Maybe his tyres are going.
Maybe they are. We're on lap 4 now. When we come to strategies, what do the pit crews say down in the pit lane about strategies here, Adam?
All right. Well, they're looking at a possible two-stopper, but everyone is predicting a bit of rain, and the way the track looks in Sector 1, you can see a bit of a reflection on the track. So I expect rain probably in the next 10 minutes, so that just throws it all up in the air. No one can predict what stops they're going to do, how many.
That is very true. Now this is where it could pay into the hands of those drivers that have qualified or decided to start on the prime tyres, the white-walled tyres, before, for the drivers that didn't qualify. It definitely could help them out. Now, talking about strategies, you did say stops there, so working on the numbers of laps of 22 and how many laps I'm aware these tyres can do. I wouldn't be surprised if Kev 187's lost it. He's regained his composure. He's on the move again, but that was out of Stavolo. He was absolutely, completely sideways. His tyres are shot, and I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if we saw cars entering the pits. Now we're going to have a situation, I'm pretty sure, where both of the Mode Red Manners are going to be wanting to enter the pits. Now DP's carried on, Kev's carried on. I'm surprised at that. I would have thought one of those cars would have pitted this lap, but Temp Fear did. Temp Fear has pitted. Yeah. So let's get back to Kev 187.
44's trying to defend Dan Evans, who's on the prime tyres, and they're starting to struggle on the option tyres, so they'll be pitting time soon.
Yeah. Now, Adam, I know that you can probably hear the radio communications between Kev 187 and DP without letting too much onto the airwaves of who's going to be doing what. I mean, surely we're going to end up with a situation where they're both going to be wanting to pit on the same lap, aren't we?
Yeah, well, we've got Kev checking the damage on his tyres, and they are in a poor state. And the simple fact is, they are betting for rain. They're going for an aggressive strategy, and they're trying to get the best tyres used before the rain. But if the rain doesn't come, it's just an overcast race, it could really, really mess their race up.
Well, there we go. Yeah, now, should one of them gamble for an undercut and pit soon? Do they both keep going? It could work both ways.
If I was Kev, I'd pit, because Dave seems to be pulling away from Kev.
Yeah, and at this moment, Kev seems to be the one that is struggling that little bit more with his tyres. Ray?
Well, with Temp Fear pitting a lap early, he's come out back into traffic and he's battling with Killer Corkin, so it might just keep Temp Fear at bay.
I mean, that is very true. I mean, the earlier pitter there, Temp Fear, has come out in traffic. Now, if DP and no, DP's pitted. DP has pitted. What I was going to say is, with the front runners, if they wait till everybody else has pitted and then they pit, they will come out in clear air because they've already pulled that gap up. Now, Ray, if you could let us know what DP's done with his strategy of his tyres, that'd be great. Overdyking's lining up. Kev 187 is on the primes. Yep, he's going to stretch that out to the rain, hopefully.
If Dave's gone on the primes, that means they realise that no rain is expected, and we have a comment saying that James has said that on the weather report they're expecting no rain. So I assume Kev and Dave have realised that. That's why they've changed their strategy.
Yep. That's well, thank you very much for the information there coming through from James's pit crew. And Kev 187 was able to keep Overdyking behind him on the Kemmel Straight, heading up towards Les Combs, and I was surprised. I thought Overdyking would have been able to get that slipstream and the DRS move done. He was closing up through Eau Rouge, but he just didn't seem to be able to get up alongside him. I don't know whether at this point he's just saving his tyres, saving his fuel, keeping there with Kev. Is he thinking I'll pit when he pits, or is he going to stretch his tyres out even longer? Could DP even consider doing a 3-stopper here, or rather than a 2-stopper? You said earlier on, Adam, I think you may have said earlier on, what did drivers do last season?
In regards to what?
The strategies that drivers did last season as Kev comes into the pits.
They went for a 2-stopper, but you know, every season, whether it's on the same game or different game, you learn from your previous season. You make different changes to your setup, which then affects your tyre wear. So you could end up making one more stop. But you know, Kev went a lap further than his pit stop. He was meant to stop on lap 5. He went a lap further. Now, does that benefit him?
Hang on, sorry, I've got to butt in. He's lost out track position to Overdyking in the pits. He came into the pits ahead of Overdyking, come out of the pits behind him. They are both on the prime tyres, but how unfortunate is that?
He had to wait for Dom to go past. That must frustrate him no end.
Well, there you go. Sometimes you just wish that you could leave ahead of that car, but I suppose it's there so that you don't get an unsafe release. But that would be... Kev will be spitting teeth, literally.
I think he is. He's already got a warning for track limits going through Eau Rouge, so that must have upset him a little bit there.
Oh dear me. Yeah, and that's the sort of thing that can just put you off your rhythm.
And we've got GT5 King and Batman coming up to the corner with no name. And they were closer than what they are now, but I think they're going to have a good wee battle throughout this race.
And those two are not that far behind Overdyking and Kev 187, so that just goes to show how much time Kev and Overdyking lost by trying to go those extra laps. Are they side by side, right?
Up the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, Batman's threw up the inside and gained into 7th place.
Well, hopefully he had a bucket with him if he threw it up the inside.
He had a rear wiggle off the curb. GT5 Kings went off track, he couldn't hold it round that corner. It seems like he's got more understeer than he needs.
I wonder if he's got too much on that rear wing and not enough on the front end. It's not quite working for him at the moment.
What was the track temperature? Because it looks like Kev on the primes is struggling to get these tyres lit up because he is crossing the track limits quite a bit on this on this first lap on the primes. So I don't know whether the tyres are just not sticking to the track yet.
Well, I don't know what the temperatures were at the start of the race. Now, in the practice session, there were only in the high 20s, track 30s. Now, it is cooler now than it was, as it's more overcast now than it was in qualifying, but it does look like that sun is trying to come out. But what I can say is the primes around here can take 2 to 3 laps before they can get up to a racing temperature. But that could be where Kev's lack of practice this season may come back to haunt him a little bit again, because he may have done out his running on the...
stopped in the line. On the racing line, that'll freak some drivers out.
It is.
Close, but it's not going anywhere. It's going now.
Oh, what a disaster for Dan Evs. And I'm sure we'll find out at some point what's happened to him there. Can we have... Connor, just going to confirm, Conzo 1993 didn't qualify, was able to make it into the event. He's currently running in 12th place.
Missed his braking point and Kev's going through the inside. Is he going to hold it, let it stick? He's squeezing, giving that just that track's width and no more, and he's got the place done. Taken, sorry. Or the overtake done, shall I say.
Thank you very much for that information.
The car that stopped
on
the car that stopped on track must have put Kev off. That allowed Dom to go past.
No, Dom's behind Kev.
Yeah, but they've gone the opposite way.
In front or behind?
Kev is currently in front of Dom, but when Dom got past, Kev saw the car stopped on the track.
Is that not in the pits?
No, out of past Kemmel Straight, the second corner after Kemmel Straight, a car was just sitting there.
I know, but I can't not overtake Kev in the pits. Kev had to wait.
Yeah, well then Kev must have got past. There you go. I'm not keeping track.
I tell you what, Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Hamilton 44 is taking a position off Overdyking, and it looks like Overdyking's not liking it. But that's where the difference in compound of tyres coming in, and Mr. Hamilton 44 has come out of nowhere to take that 4th position away from Overdyking. But who's leading this race currently at the moment? Because DP was the first one out of the front 4 to pit, and he is currently in the lead. So in second place we've got Temp Fear. He's 2.4 seconds behind, and he was the first to pit, so his tyres won't be going much further because he has gone option, whereas DP did go option prime. So in third place is Kev 187, who's got Mr. Hamilton 44 right up his gearbox. And again, that's the difference in the compounds of the tyres. Kev's on the prime, Mr. Hamilton 44 is on the options. Try my best not to get confused with it's Hammer Time 44. Is he going to make a move? He's going up the inside. No, I should say around the outside of Blanchimont. Kev's giving him a bit of space, giving him all the space he needs, but he's backed out of it. Hamilton 44. Is he going to get him in the braking zone? No. I'm just thinking that Kev's tyres may now have just come into life, and Hamilton 44's tyres, depending on what time what lap he pitted on, may just be starting to struggle. But he has set the fastest lap of the race so far of a 1:47.7, and I do believe that's not far off last season's race lap record, and it could even be faster by a few tenths. Not a few tenths, a few hundredths.
Well, the lap record was for last season 1:47.756, set by Kev 187.
Yeah, so Mr. Hamilton, I can't tell you whether that your lap time beat it, but it was extremely close. And he's got the move done into Lescom, and Kev, I think, had to yield.
You know, if a driver says to his teammate, "We're going to go for an aggressive strategy," and then they have to change it in the race, does that affect your mindset?
Anything you have to change during the race, I think could, put you off big time. I mean, as an example, you can be planning for a dry race, have your strategy all set out, perfect idea of what you want to do, but as soon as there's that little something that may change it, whether it's weather or your teammate pits when you wanted to pit or whatever, it can throw you off massively. It can massively throw you off. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that did. That's perfect. It's just because the way Kev seems to be struggling, I don't know whether he did want rain, and he predicted rain, and that's what he set his strategy up for. He had to change strategy at the first pit, so I'm just wondering if that's affected him.
Well, I'm just wondering whether
3 wide down 7, 8 and 6, 7 and 8 were 3 wide round the fast left kink just before the last chicane. They've all went into line of stern into the last chicane. Somebody's just peeled off into the pits.
It's Temp Fear. Temp Fear's into the pits for his second pit stop. So we are halfway through the race on lap 11. So can he take the primes for 11 laps, or is he going to be making this a 3-stopper? Well, I'll be surprised if his tyres go 11 laps, but we shall find out, I'm sure.
Kev's going for the overtake on the Hamilton 44, and has he got it? No. Yeah, that was close. That was nearly a Hamilton and Rosberg moment there.
Kev got a little bit sideways then as well. But I tell you what, this is where... Go on.
With these two battling, it's bringing Overdye King back up into play. He's catching up the back of them.
Yeah. Now, it must be time for Mr. Hamilton 44 to get rid of those option tyres then, if he's got a car that's on the primes overtaking him, apart from the fact that it is Kev 187. But Mr. Hamilton 44 has gone for an overtake back, and it looks like he's got the position. I'm not sure if he left enough room there, because we did see Kev slightly off the circuit. Well, that's what it came across to us looking like. And we do know that he's got Overdyking right behind him. Actually, he's not as close as we thought. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Hamilton 44 was planning on pitting at some point soon.
And we've got Jamie Dreams up to 7.
Last season I asked the question, are the established drivers wary of the new breed of drivers coming through? Now, if I ask that again, would the established drivers been here for a few seasons tend to agree with that now?
I think now, yes, they are definitely aware of the new breed of drivers coming through. Because last season, I wouldn't say it was a 2-horse race, I would say it was a 3-horse race, because Overdyking was there or thereabouts. He was the only one really that could possibly take a race victory away from either Dave or Kev. This season, I don't know how much you've been able to keep an eye on things, Adam, but we've had, I think it was 6 different race winners in the first 6 races, and so far we've had 8 different race winners in 10 races. So yeah, they're definitely aware of the new breed of drivers coming through now.
So that's a good advert for Front Row Racing. It just shows you whether you join a few seasons ago or whether you want to join next week and race in the Fridays Cup. You know, you could be the next person challenged for a win in World Championship or World Series.
That's very true.
Struggling.
He is struggling, and it looks like both these guys could be struggling at the moment. And then with them pushing each other, they might be getting their tyres to be overheated a bit. But they are getting a lot of side-by-side overtakes. And Kev, as far as I remember, has never raced against Mr. Hamilton 44 before, because Mr. Hamilton, he is a reserve driver in for Joe Finn. He's doing a great job, currently running in second place. And you know, he is a Fridays Cup driver who is on the reserve list to get into these sort of positions when a guy can't make the event. They can call upon these guys, shows what they can do. When a seat comes available for a full-time drive, as it has done for its Hammer Time, then they get offered a full seat. And I'll tell you what we're seeing at the moment from Mr. Hamilton is pretty damn good, really.
Yeah, there's been very respectful, giving that web space and that, not cutting. They're not cutting each other up and that. So great driving. I'm away down the field to see what I can see.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
GT5 King in the pits. He's going on to the options. That should take him to the end. Would you say?
Options to the end from here? Doubtful.
Not prime.
Prime with 9 laps, maybe. Yeah, they should at this point go to the end, I would say. I'm just wondering whether
Bartman side by side coming to Rouge, if that's how you say it.
Rouge, yeah.
Anything that's not Scottish or English, I'm rubbish. And Gonzo's going to try and get his place back, I think, because I'm sure he was ahead of Bartman, and he's not got the speeds, even though he had the slipstream and maybe the DRS as well, unless Bartman got it just as he'd done the overtake.
Well, it's interesting that you say Conzo's struggling to get past him, because he was struggling with his setup. He was still meddling with it up to the race, so it's possible that's affecting him.
Very true. Well, now we did say we was going to find out the comments from GT5 King, because he looks like he's having an interesting battle at the moment. So what was it that GT5 King had? Oh no, that was right.
No, he stopped me.
Yeah, he didn't give you the comments. Yeah, he's got Jason right up his rear, who's got Dan Evs following him extremely closely as well. And I'll tell you, you were right, he did snub you, because he sent me his message directly. And his message was, I'm into the 46ers, 46.8 is my PB. And that was it. So there you go.
Is that a bit of bragging by GT5 King?
Jason's locked it up. That must have gone straight on. There's no way he would have made that corner.
Oh, Conzo was trying to get the pits for the inside and he never managed it. He was at Dan Edge on his side, but he's struggling to get into the pits now. He's got it in now.
GT5 King's making a move up the inside of Dan Evs. They're going to be going side by side up towards Eau Rouge, and I tell you what, this is going to get hairy. This is hold on to your hats time.
GT5 King backed out.
He did. I think he went for a KFC and had definitely a big full bucket of chicken then. So he definitely didn't. Go on.
You know, with qualifying, yeah, and in the real F1 they tried that new format which was absolutely terrible. Would that work in our league?
I don't think it would. I don't know. That's my first instant reaction, only because I don't like it from watching it at the weekend in real Formula 1 and me sitting there going, this doesn't work, this doesn't look right. My brain cannot compute that would work in a computer game as well as in real life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think where they went wrong with that is they should let the driver finish their lap and not just cancel them straight out, because that would be better. It might have had a shot of working.
Quite possibly.
We've got Mr. Hamilton in the 44 in the pits and Overdye King. Mr. Hamilton and Kev seem to have been catching up on Dave, because he was 6 seconds ahead and he was down to 4 before Mr. Hamilton pitted.
Yeah, so Kev is only 4 seconds off the leader, which is from the Racing DP. I mean, there's a question we could ask the viewers at some point, is about the qualifying.
Sorry to interrupt, but from a racing DP, he may be slowing down because he is well over his pit window. He should have pitted a good few laps ago, but he's carrying on.
I'm wondering whether he's going to give Kev 187 this lap to pit, so that this is something that we've seen Mode Red Marussia do before, and that is when the leader has got a bit of a buffer, they will allow the guy that's in second place to take the advantageous point of pitting, so that because if Kev was to go an extra lap, that's going to put him right in the battle of It's Hammer Time and overdiking again straight away, because he's not going to have the undercut of one lap, he's going to be undercut over 2 laps, whereas DP is going to have that extra bit of a buffer. So it is something that team has spoke about in the past. Whoa, Kev nearly hit my corner.
How long will the option tyres last?
Okay, they will be good for about 5 laps. After 5 laps they do drop off, but I would not want to be taking them past lap 7. DP's pitted. Will they double stack? Yeah. No, Kev's gone round for another lap.
But DP only had 4 seconds, so I couldn't see him giving Kev that option. 4 seconds, that's what, one mistake, one lock up going straight on, and
it is
closing down.
But the other advantage of Dave letting Kev pit would be running the options with 1 lap less to go. You'd be running them at a higher pace than what everybody else is running them at.
Beside or in front of 10th Fear. Where's 10th Fear? No, 10th Fear's behind them.
Yep, 10th Fear is. 10th Fear's on the primes. So that's right, because 10th Fear did do option, and I did say when he put those primes on lap 11, he's going to have a long way to go. He's already done 5 laps on them, and to be honest with you, yes, they will go to the end, but they will not be very nice over the last handful of laps. And overdiking looks like at this stage of the race, he's the driver that's starting to lose out a little bit.
I've got just hearing some information over the airwaves that Promo Racing DP's pitted, but his race strategists are saying he needs to make another pit stop. And with the options, he can take it to the end, like you said, Steve, but will he be competitive?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, 4 laps will be absolutely bob on, no problem. You'll do consistent laps for 4 laps. 5 laps, your 5th lap will be a quarter of a second to maybe half a second off your pace. Then they'll go to maybe half a second and then you know, by that point everybody else is going to be starting to struggle as well. So I think at this point DP is in prime position. He's in the option position to finish on the options, as we've got 10th Fear and it's Hamilton getting very close together there through. Yeah. If you could let us know what tyres he goes on to. Oh, 10th Fear's realised those tyres are not going to take him to the end. He has opted to go for the 3 stopper. Now that is going to knock him back down the field, but will he be able to bang in some pace with those fresh tyres? But like we've just said, Kev's pitted, but Kev has only done a 2 stop. Yeah. Kev has got the option. He has lost out.
Jamie James' tyres don't look too good.
So the car ahead of Kev 187 is Jamie James. He is on the option tyres. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got one more pit stop to go. His tyres look absolutely completely shot. Ray, if you could have a look to see how many pit stops Jamie James has already done, I wouldn't be surprised if he's only done 2 so far. And if he's on the options at this point and they look that bad, he would be needing another pit stop.
Jamie James has done 2.
Yeah, so he would have started on the option tyres. He's on the option tyres. He's got to run the primes at some point. So he's still needing to pit, and I'm pretty sure he'll be sat there thinking, or I'm pretty sure he's been told, don't let Kev 187 come past you. Don't let Kev 187 come past you, because his teammate will not want that to happen. And I don't think Kev's done it. Yeah, Jamie James didn't have any say in that. It was going to happen.
So, are we agreeing that 2 stoppers quicker than the 3 stopper?
I'll tell you at the checkered flag.
There we go. Wise words.
Overtime count, Mr. Hamilton 44 down into last chicane, side by side. Mr. Hamilton just keeps it ahead at in that coasting area of the corner, where you're neither on the accelerator or the brake, unless it's just me that does that coasting area.
No, there's quite a few that do that. Unless you're on a pad and then you just go from brake to throttle.
Oh, Mr. Hamilton slowed right down.
I'm wondering whether there was a bit of contact previously, or has he had one of those glitches where it says it was an illegal overtake because somebody's entered the pits, so it's brought up a yellow flag to say you let the car go past, yet he's not overtook him. Well, if it is one of those, for future information, Mr. Hamilton 44, if someone enters the pits and it does sometimes bring up a yellow flag and you feel that you do not need to give that position back, carry on, argue it later, son. I mean, if the game says illegal overtake but you've not overtaken anyone, why give the position to someone?
Yeah, good point. Front row racing DP on this previous lap just broke the front row racing world championship race lap record.
Wow.
He got a 147.731. Previous record by his teammate 147.756. Very close, but he's broke it. A new record for him.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kev would have seen that come up and thought, do you know what, I can do better than that. Now, earlier on, I was saying that Overdyking looks like he's lost out a bit in all of this because he was in a bit of traffic, but he is currently running in second place, and it is Kev 187 that's the one that's lost out, and it will be that extra lap that he had to put in.
What did Jamie James? He went down to 7.
Sorry, just on Jamie James, he had to pit again because he'd only run option, so he had to pit.
But he's on the options.
It's still on the options? Well, unless he had damage early on and ran the primes for a long time, but that would have been maybe something we may have missed.
Kev a minute ago.
Well, there you go. I'm not so sure. Adam, information for us. Oh, Temp Fear's now set the new fastest lap. I can see that coming down as the sun starts to shine through. Adam?
Yeah, I was just wondering, given the situation that we're seeing with Kev seemingly struggling a little bit, and Dom, do you think Dom's got a good chance of pushing DP for the win?
I don't want to commentate, curse anyone. All I would say at this point is Dom needs to be looking in his mirrors a hell of a lot more than what he needs to be thinking about of what's up the road, because that car behind him is a hell of a lot closer to him than what he is to DP. Because Mr. Hamilton is looking on it at this point, but also we're on lap 19 and we're out of only 22 laps. And we're going to get to that stage where we're going to have to start thinking about penalties. Have any drivers had any penalties or multiple penalties? Oh, Mr. Hamilton's getting very close. I'm wondering whether he's going to have a look for an overtake along this back stretch as they head towards Blanchimont. He's just lost a bit out of Stavelot, though. I bet he's regretting giving that position to Overdyking.
You know, with the Camel Straight, you can slipstream. Do you reckon it's worth Mr. Hamilton thinking maybe I should wait, get past Eau Rouge, close to over the kink, and try on the Camel Straight to get past him?
It depends. He may already have tried that, and it all depends on what aeros you're running, and if he's struggling to overtake him, because it is a difficult place to overtake there, even with slipstream and DRS, because you can reach the car. When you run rich, you're almost at the car's peak potential top speed anyway. So it's very difficult to gain that much more from having slipstream and DRS. If you see what I mean, the car's it looks like he's going to go for it. Can he outbrake him? He's there. Overdyking's going to leave him some space. Mr. Hamilton's going to have to leave him some space on the next corner.
What a lap by Jamie James, 147.481 I think it was.
That's a nice time, and I have just noticed that Mr. Hamilton is on the prime tyres, and if he's overtaking Overdyking's got a problem here, because Mr. Hamilton's tyres are not going to be burning out towards the end of this race, and Overdyking's are going to be near the limit with only 2 laps to go. His tyres are going to start to struggle, because Overdyking was one of the first, when it came round to the second pit stops, he was one of the earlier to pit and get rid of his prime tyres, so he might start to rue that now, with Kev 187 being the last one to pit and starting to catch the back of these ones up, the back of these up. So to answer a question you were asking earlier on, Adam, about Overdyking catching DP, it looks like if anything he's dropping further off him because he's been in that battle, but also Kev 187 is going to be right up there with him.
Front row racing DP had a scruffy middle sector, nearly a whole second slower than his personal best for it. But Mr. Hamilton was also a second slower, so it's not really affected DP at the front.
Well, as they cross,
Kev's gained a second though.
Wow, as they cross the line this lap, Overdyking is 6.5 seconds off the lead, and only 2 laps ago it was 3 seconds off the lead. So in 2 laps that gap has opened up massively, and I'm just wondering now how long it's going to be before Kev 187 is going to be able to put Overdyking under pressure, as Jamie James is setting fastest lap after fastest lap. Just going to show what he could have done if he'd have been up there at the front and not had that incident at turn 1.
I'd like to give a mention to all the drivers though. Cracking race, no retirement so far, which is brilliant.
Now you've gone and done it, as we've got 1.5 laps to go.
Oh, I had to do it, Steve, I had to.
I'll tell you what, we've still got the battle going on between Mr. Hamilton 44 and Overdyking. Overdyking had overtaken him up the Camel Straight, but Mr. Hamilton has overtaken him. That's a new word for the dictionary.
Yeah, Kev's going to be on the back of these.
Yeah, he is, and you can tell through Puan he's got the car planted. He is, like you said earlier on, probably expecting a bit of rain, so he may have bolted on a bit of extra downforce, and that's why he's gaining so much more through this sector too.
Saying that then, so is it worth having the extra downforce on for the last 2 sectors and just forget about sector 1 just because it's got the Camel Straight?
Quite possibly, because if you look at it now, we've got Kev 187 looking like he's looked after his tyres in this last part of the race, and he's about to make a move round Blanchimont on Overdyking, but he can't quite make it work. And I tell you what, this is where now the superior grip in those rear tyres is just going to power him out of the corner, opening up a DRS and keep it in a straight line if you can, and you will surely drive past. But then again, do you want to give DRS to another car that could potentially overtake you up the Camel Straight on the last lap?
A very scruffy lap by DP. I don't know whether tyre wear's affecting him. He's having to push a little bit harder. He was 1.2 seconds slower in the middle sector.
Wow. Well, fortunately for him, he does have the space to the cars behind him, as Overdyking has tried to make a move. Oh, there's collision, there's contact. Overdyking looked like he locked his brakes up, and there was no way he was going to be able to avoid a contact with Kev 187 there. It looked like he was a bit too late on the brakes for those worn tyres. Now I could only see it unfortunately from a bit of a camera angle from Overdyking's view, but where is Kev 187?
We'll see it if he's on Kev's. You'll see it in a second or so.
Yeah, if you can let us know. Yeah. Well, if you jump on board with Kev 187, you might be able to rewind it a little and let us know what happened from Kev 187's view or from Overdyking's view.
Try that. I tell you what, that commentator is
annoying.
Collisions is an idiot.
Right, I'm going to jump on board with Front Row Racing DP because we are on lap 22. He is going around Blanchimont. He's only got the bus stop chicane left to go. So yes, his tyres have been wearing. Yes, he's not been able to put fastest laps in. But who cares about fastest laps when you are Front Row Racing DP winning the race at Spa-Francorchamps? There you go, Front Row Racing DP. And do we have a surprise podium here for Mr. Hamilton 44? Well, I haven't seen much driving of him. He is a bit of a new boy, a bit of a rookie, and then we've got Kev in 3rd place, Overdyking in 4th, with looks like a bit of a damaged wing there. 10th here looks like he managed to bring home in 5th with It's Hammer Time in 6th.
Got a little bit of information. Dom let Kev past him when they collided, so a bit of sportsmanship there from Dom.
That may be Dom thinking, oh dear, I made a mistake. So yes, sportsmanship, definitely something that we do like in front row racing, because if you feel that it was your fault in an incident and you let the driver back through, front row racing race directors will not look at penalising you any further, but I'm pretty sure it'll probably still be looked at and then probably seen, oh well, he's given a place back, or it may even been Kev's fault, because I don't know from the view we could see. Konzo just coming across the line, lighting up his rear wheels, a bit of a wiggle, a bit of a wave to the crowd. He's happy that he's finished, even though he's not in the points. Mornay in 13th place, and we should have another runner out there somewhere after Mornay. It should be Killer Corkin, I do believe, who is still getting used to his wheel.
I'd like to mention to the YouTube viewers, the podium interviews will be taking place soon. If you've got any questions or comments, just get them down on the comment section of the live stream, and they will be asked.
We shall try our best. Yeah, and Killer Corkin 14th. So every car that started finished. There we go. Great racing, front row racing. DP takes the top step with it's Mr. Hamilton at 44 in second place, and Kev 187 in third place. Everything is provisional until the front row racing race directors have had their say. And the champagne is sprayed. Another happy race for the Mode Red Marussia. Well, they did say earlier on that they were wanting to get back on the podium, and I would think Kev might be a little surprised with the little practice he's had there. But there we go. Not many penalties on the board. We've got Kev 187 with a 3-second penalty. And Overdyking going to be ruining that incident. Even though he let him past, he could have still followed him to the finish, and if it had kept close enough to him, he could quite easily have still had the position. So
I was just wondering,
yeah.
Last week, when I wasn't too impressed by Kev letting Dave past. Do you reckon
Yes.
that will be haunting Kev?
Interesting. I don't know. Quite possibly. But it's something we can ask him, isn't it? It's something I'll let you ask him, but I won't drop you in on it. But Ray, if you could invite the top 3 in. Yeah. Ray, have you got Mr. Hamilton 44 on your friends list?
Yes.
You
yes,
have. Woohoo! Okay, so if you could invite the top 3.
Just no corner names, but I'm prepared.
Yeah. So in first place just was front row racing. Well done, and you can be quiet until we come to you. Thanks very much. Only joking. Well done, Mr. Front Row Racing DP. Very nice race there from you. We will come to you for some questions in a moment as we wait for the others to join us. In second place was Mr. Hamilton. Has Mr. Hamilton joined us in the podium chat?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, I have just seen though that Kev 187 has joined us. Good evening to Kev 187.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Evening.
We'll come to you in a moment. And I'm just wondering, Mr. Hamilton 44, somebody I've never spoken to before, and I don't know what his English is like.
I haven't spoken to him either.
No.
To be honest, I think he'll be. Here he is.
Here he is. Okay, so Mr. Hamilton, thank you for joining the podium interviews. If you could make sure your microphone is set to always allowed to broadcast. If you're not sure how to check that, say so, and we can talk you through it. Or if you don't have a microphone, send us a message and let us know how your race went. Or if you don't understand English, just make a noise.
He might have his thing to share.
That wasn't Mr. Hamilton. That was
Yeah.
me. I do apologise.
I don't even know what his real name is, but anyway. We will come to Mr. Hamilton in a moment, but if you could, Mr. Hamilton, have a microphone ready, so we can come to you for a couple of questions.
His name is Mads Sorensen.
Mads. So, Mr. Mads. If you could make sure your microphone is set to shared and always allowed, that would be great, and we'll have a chat in a moment. So, what a wonderful race. We had action from start to finish and in the middle. So, to answer a question first of all to Adam, who was asking, what do I think was going to be better, a 2-stopper or a 3-stopper? Adam, I can tell you now, because the race is finished. 2-stop.
I love your knowledge. It's amazing.
It all depends on what everyone else does. A 3-stopper could have worked if everyone else did a 3-stop. But anyway, Front Row Racing DP, well done on your victory.
Thank you very much.
We did notice in the early stages of the race, again a bit close between you and your teammate.
Oh, struggling. The front end grip was awful. There was a couple of occasions where I was like, I think I'm going to do it, yeah. So yeah, it was not easy. I mean, the first stint, I mean, off the line, we knew that we're both going to be sitting ducks. So when I was ahead, it was like, right, okay, I'll give Kev the slipstream, see if it can help him stay ahead. But yeah, front end grip in that first stint was awful.
Yeah. When you qualified and you realised you was going to be on the front row, was it a yes or was a oh no, what's going to happen next?
Actually, you know what? It was a case of, right, let's go out and put a banker lap in. Right, put a banker lap in. That's not bad, that. I'm fairly happy with that. And we were sat there going, well, do we go out again? Because if someone beats us, it's not really a problem. I was like, yeah, we'll go out for another run, but I wasn't up on mine, so I abandoned it. So, yeah, not ideal being on the front row, but made it work.
Good stuff, good stuff. To be honest with you, out of all the front runners, apart from the first 2 or 3 laps, once the first round of pit stops was done, it was pretty much just a matter of driving it home, wasn't it?
To a degree, yeah. I mean, the first stint was push really hard, try and break the DRS, which me and Kev, we managed to do. I don't know if Temp and Dom had a coming together, but it was like, right, okay, we've got a gap now, let's go. The first round of stops, to be honest, I have to say fair play to Kev. He did say, yeah, just go for the pits, mate, because the tyres were absolutely knackered. The second stint, it was a case of push hard but make the tyres last. If they don't last those 10 laps, then the strategy doesn't work. They did last, and the strategy worked, and yeah, went well in the end.
Good stuff. Before I move on to Mr. Hamilton, Ray and Adam, any questions for Front Racing DP?
Yeah, I've got a couple. Was there contact between you and Kev? I think either on the second or third lap at the start of the Kemmel Straight. It looked like Kev wanted to get past you.
Yeah, I think I didn't notice it, but Kev did say that he was catching me up quick, and then he hit the back of me. I didn't know anything about it, other than him saying it.
Okay. Also, were you planning for rain?
No. Well, yes and no. I'll let Kev answer that one.
Okay.
Okay, we'll come to Kev in a moment, so Kev, don't answer that one just yet. Right, Ray, question for DP?
Yeah.
Or no question for DP?
I've not got any.
You're not got any? You don't want to talk to him today? Okay, no problem.
It's not, I don't want to talk to him, I've not got any questions.
Right, so, second place, rookie. I mean, you may have been driving for a while, but rookie to Front Row Racing, Mr. Hamilton 44, congratulations on being on the podium and in second place. How do you feel about being on the podium? Has he?
Doesn't have a note.
Has he?
So I've asked them
Okay.
I've asked how did your race go. I'm just waiting on a reply.
Okay, great stuff. Okay, so with that, while we're waiting for that reply, we'll move on to Kev 187.
Yo.
Is this one of the pole positions you didn't want?
No, I'm not bothered. I'll just go for fastest lap, forget overtake, and it's inevitable. So just do it on the next lap.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting.
Though.
Yeah, it was interesting how the Ferraris were actually thinking about it in a different kind of way. They were aiming to get second and fourth on the grid because they didn't want to be on the inside. So they wanted to be on the outside, but everyone has different kind of thoughts about qualifying at Spa, and Tempfear obviously was one that was said he definitely didn't want to be on pole.
You can only get fourth anyway.
Yeah. So, opening stages of the race, what happened between leaving the line and getting to Eau Rouge? Because from leaving the line you was in first place on pole, and I'm not sure whether it was at Eau Rouge you was already in second place.
Yeah, I think Dave just nailed the start. Don't know, he just nailed it, I didn't, so he got the better run. And then, yeah, that was it.
So it wasn't anything like you were letting him have the first corner so you could then slipstream in down the back straight?
No. That didn't even enter my head. Didn't even enter my head.
There was a point during the race where it looked like you were desperate to pit, but DP pitted, and you ended up having to do an extra lap. Do you think that put you on the back foot a little bit?
Well, yeah, it didn't help, but it was teammates, aren't we? Yeah, I've pitted before him in races, he's pitted before me in races, so
yeah,
it's smooth, isn't it?
The key part to it was what happened the lap before the pit stops.
Oh yeah, I lost the back end, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of annoyed with myself actually for that, because I just got in the lead, and I was thinking to myself I'll probably, well, hopefully try and build a gap a bit, but yeah, then I bloody spun it. So.
Yeah, we did unfortunately for you manage to catch that on film. Yeah. Now, one of the things that we've noticed with your one of the things that Motor Ed Marussia had done in the past, and I think the last time we saw it might have been at Brazil, is the leader continues on and actually allows the most advantageous time to pit to go to the second car, because the leader's got that bit of a buffer. Did that not cross your team's minds today?
It will do if I'm in second next race.
No problem.
It's not a bad idea actually, that, because then, if it worked, you have both cars still in the same position, and you could just give the position back, couldn't you?
Yeah,
I suppose.
I mean,
not a bad idea.
We did think about doing opposite strategy. Well, there was the opposite strategy, and then what would have answered Adam's question about rain was whether we go option if it could rain. But yeah, when it brightened up, it was like, no, we'll go primes. But the thing is, I mean, it's like I pitted before Kev, but what that does towards the end of the race was Kev pitted a lap later, but he then had much fresher tyres to go and attack the cars that were around him.
And talking about attacking the cars around you, Kev, last lap down the Camel Straight, a bit of a coming together with someone.
Yeah, my old mate Dom.
Again. Yeah,
I've got a reply by Dom for that. He went, "Sorry, Kev, by the looks of it, went too deep. Wasn't a dive bomb, just missed the braking point slightly."
Yeah, he said sorry too. It's just fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, the camera angle that we were viewing it from was not one of those best of camera angles. We could see Dom's car, but unfortunately we couldn't see yours, and we just kind of saw Dom's car going straight on with his hands in the air. So yeah.
I mean, the only problem really, it cost us both a shot at second. So
yeah, that's true.
A little bit annoying.
Yeah, that is true. So the question that Adam was going to ask you was about, did you actually prepare your car or prepare for rain? I know Dave touched on it a moment ago, but you specifically, was your setup set for rain?
No. I just put the dry setup on.
Yeah.
Also, Kev, was it the second or third lap, just at the start of the Camel Straight, you seemed to get impeded by Dave, and Tempfear, I think, managed to pass you. Did that put you off slightly?
You should have heard him swearing.
I can't remember.
I'm joking.
I can't remember, mate, honestly. On the third lap?
It looked like you were going to go for the pass and you'd worked it out, but it looked like Dave must have had a poor exit out of Eau Rouge and it kind of held you up.
Honestly, I cannot remember on them. Sorry, mate.
Oh, no worries.
I'll just say, yeah, he held me up.
What you have to do is say...
In response to that, I'd say, it wasn't a poor exit of Eau Rouge. The slipstream around Spa is super, super strong.
Super strong.
I mean, there was one lap, I might have been following someone, I can't remember, it might have been 10th field, or it might have been in practice actually, where I come round turn 1 and there's probably 2 or 3 car lengths to the car ahead. By the time I get to Eau Rouge, I'm up his gearbox, I'm off the throttle because the slipstream's so powerful. So, I mean, I would never have lifted or purposefully positioned for him to hit me, because really, the better thing would have been, right, Kev, you go past me, I'll slipstream you, and we'll both see if we both can pull away from Kev.
Well, Kev,
I've got one other thing to say to try and make Ray feel a little bit better. This is a classic. I wish Hulkenberg was doing the highlights for this race moment, when Kev said to me, "It's Hammer Time's pitted again," but he's only just pitted. For then 30 seconds later for him to go, "Hang on, no, he's in front of me. Is there 2? It's Hammer Times."
No idea, so confused.
Kev, I got another
it's Hammer
question
Time, this
for
must
you.
happen.
Kev, what about last week? It seemed you let Dave past. Will that affect you, that you gave him that position last week and now you've not come in second, you've come third? Will that be in your mindset that you shouldn't have gave him that position last week?
No, because he was miles. I did literally, I think, 10 laps of practice last week.
Yeah.
So he was miles faster. This week I did a couple of hours last night, and then I did tonight before he came on.
Tell you it was 60 laps.
Right.
Yeah, so last week's...
What I want to do at this point is move on to Mr. Hamilton 44. So Ray, if you could let us know what he's had to say, because what we may need to do is ask him another question for him to come back and answer, but obviously while we're waiting for him to reply to that, we have got other things that we need to discuss. So Mr. Hamilton 44's race comments, Ray?
Pretty okay, but I had primes at my last stint despite starting primes. I think they fitted used tyres on both stops, but a fun race with lots of close and fair racing.
He had primes in the last stint.
Yeah, they did, and it looked like that Overdyking was struggling a little bit on his options, and that's when Mr. Hamilton was able to make the move. I've got a question for Mr. Hamilton 44, if he's got time to reply back to Ray to this question, and the question is, did you ever think that you could be on the podium at Front of Racing World Championship at your first attempt? I mean, to us it was just a great race from you, but you know, what was your prediction for this race? So while we're waiting for that reply to come back through, Adam, do we have any questions from the YouTube viewers?
Yeah, we do. We have one from Hindle. It goes, how difficult was the 2-stop with tyre wear?
Don't tell him. Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
It was really, really easy.
There we go. It's very easy, and we'll try it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Steve might get a win then.
So, just on that point though, to DP and to Kev, is Spa a circuit, if it stays dry, to you it's always going to be a 2-stopper?
Yeah, I reckon so. The lap too long.
Yeah. If you do 2 flying laps in qualifying, you're on a 3-stop, or you're on an option prime, and that was the difficult thing for me throughout that race when I was running the primes. It's like, okay, is it last stint primes or is it last stint options? And when it came to pitting, it was the tyres will be awful last lap. But yeah, 2-stop.
Yeah. We did have
games ago, 3-stop was quicker, but not anymore now.
Yeah, I had.
Sorry, Steve. Did the front tyres take a couple of laps to like heat up properly? Because it looked like on your lap after the pits you were struggling.
No. As soon as I left the pits, the comments edited were, "Oh God damn it! I forgot to up my front wing." So the first lap was okay. Find out how much grip I haven't got. And then after that it was comfortable.
I mean, it
doesn't take long for him to warm up.
It was quite dull at the start of the race, so I think any of the drivers that did start on the primes were struggling at the start, with the temperatures being a little bit lower than them in the middle and towards the end. But one of the things that Adam was asking me during the race was, what's the life of the options like around Spa? I mean, how many laps can you go at a good pace before they start dropping off? And I said 4 laps, absolutely fine, not a problem. 5th lap, they'll start dropping off. 6th lap, you're going to start noticing it big time. Now, DP, you had 6 laps to go when you pitted for I'm sure it was 6 laps to go with the. Was it 7? Was it? Now, with those 7 laps left to go, at what point was it where they actually did start to drop off?
You know what? I wasn't looking at my own lap times. I was only looking at the gaps to the cars behind. I think someone who may be able to answer that better would be Temp Fear, because he pitted and he went option. And when I put
he didn't just do option. He went option, prime option.
Yeah, I don't think he was planning on doing that, but when he made his first stop, obviously on the option tyre, he should have been quick. I think he had traffic. When I came out of the pits, he was behind me about 3 seconds, but within 2 laps, he was falling off. So his tyres were dropping off after about 4 laps, and they were dropping off badly.
Yeah, I think it is more driver dependent. It is how you drive the car, setup dependent as well. Yeah. So Ray, do we have a reply from Mr. Hamilton?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Can I put a question out to Kev and Dave?
Yeah.
I asked you this, Steve. Would the qualifying that we saw at the Australian Grand Prix work for this league if it had stayed?
No.
No.
In my opinion, no. It was an interesting idea. It just did not work. If they want to make F1 qualifying more unpredictable, then if you look at what they did, they could go, okay, qualifying is 7 minutes long. That's it. Because those first sort of 5, 6, 7 minutes were absolutely frantic, absolutely mental. It was quite interesting. And that could give you an unpredictable grid, but would it work in a game? I don't know, and I think people would get frustrated with it because you do a lot of practice, and yeah, I don't think it'd be good. And I don't think it'd be good from a broadcasting point of view either.
So, for instance, then, if they were to change it from having 3 qualifying sessions to maybe even 5, but 5 lots of 7 minutes, so that pretty much you'd get a chance to get out and do 1 lap and maybe even a second one. That's it. Yeah. And that might be a better way of doing it. Yeah. Kev, what's your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I think it was. I just find the way it is.
Yeah.
I know it's only Mercedes who are getting it's between the Mercedes, but it's been like that for donkey's years. There's always one team who's better than the rest. So
yeah.
There you go.
Like the Mauritius this season.
Front row DP, you've got a fan in Hammer Time 44. He's saying 2 wins in a row, you can now win the World Championship. But Dom seems to be disagreeing with that.
Dom Wood. Well, I'm not going to say anything. I'll let my racing do the talking. Points is what wins prizes.
But also,
if black is white.
Mr. Hamilton 44 has replied.
Okay, let's listen to this.
I knew it was going to be very difficult as these guys are really fast, but I'm also aware of my skills and did expect to be on the podium in my debut at Spa. As Spa is one of my strongest track, and to finish second despite starting last was exciting.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Last.
Yeah, he didn't get a quali lap in. If he I don't know whether he went out or whether they were. This is a question he might be able to answer quite quickly, whether he actually put a lap time or attempted a lap time or not. But he wasn't actually on the board, as far as I'm aware, with lap times. So I do believe that he either was invalidated or decided not to. But yeah, unbelievable drive there.
I've got some information on Temp Fear. Wanted some details about his race. Ready? He said, first stint, half the track felt like I had no front wing and half felt brilliant. Went for the undercut but got stuck in some traffic. Then the pace just disappeared. The early stop committed me to a free stop and I didn't gain much time back at all. Was hoping for more penalties at the end though.
Obviously not for himself, for other people. Yeah.
My penalty was dubious, by the way, everyone listening.
Well, when you got your penalty, you had one of our viewers on board with you, and they did notice you received that penalty. Yeah, Adam kind of spotted that one. Adam, anything else interesting from YouTube?
Yeah, we got we've got Hammer Time 44 saying Dave's got a good chance at winning the league, and like I said, Dom's disagreeing with it. But you got Temp Fear saying it's still a long way to go. And what I said last season, I asked the drivers, are you afraid of the new breed of drivers coming through? And I'd like to ask you, Kev and Dave, that question again now, since the new breed drivers are getting good results.
Not afraid now, because with these new game rules, as a general rule, it's pretty fair. So if someone's better than you, then they're better than you. As long as they're not abusing it to be better than you, then that's fair enough by me.
We always said we wouldn't fear new challenges, and I still don't. I like it. I like the fact that if obviously if I don't win, I want Kev to win. If one of us doesn't win, there's a possibility of 2, 3, 4 drivers that could win the race. Whereas you look last season, if it wasn't me, it was Kev. If it wasn't Kev, it was me. So yeah, it's good.
Hang on a minute. Overdykink did win one race.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I forgot about that.
I think it's a good advertisement for front row racing that through the Fridays Cup, look what can happen. You could be getting the best results in the top leagues like World Championship and the World Series.
Exactly.
I mean,
It's all good.
On the drive we've seen from Mr. Hamilton today, he has shown that he has got the ability to be up there fighting in this league, and it could quite easily, if he'd have put a qualifying time in, he could quite easily been up there in first place. Looking at how well he drove.
Have had fresh tyres from the start of the race.
He said they tried to set a quali lap but abandoned them all as they weren't that good, so tried to save his tyres.
Well, I think that will actually work for him quite well.
Got a bit of gamesmanship coming from Temp Fear. Going, I was just having a week off from the podium since got bullied by the admins up there. I'll be back next week again. Ha ha.
All I'll say to that one is, Temp, just because a free stop works in Hungary doesn't mean it'll work in Spa.
He's come back already saying he's still beating Kevin in the championship. Spoil the fun.
Right, just to mention a few things. Just to mention how tight the championship is now. What I'm going to read out now is before the results today, because today's results are not confirmed. So before today's results, Temp Fear was leading the championship with 146 points, with Kev 187 only 7 points behind. Overdykink was 20 points behind Temp Fear. Jamie James was 22 points behind Temp Fear. Then we've got Front Racing DP 28 points behind Temp Fear, and it's DP that's taken the maximum points if the provisional results go through to the full results. So that's going to make this championship extremely tight. And after, sorry if I'm boring you there, Kev. After DP, after DP, there's a bit of a gap down to Conzo 1993. The gap then is 86 points from him to the lead. So it goes from DP from 28 points to Conzo on 86 points from the lead. So the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers, it was 6 with Stocky on 28 as well. So yeah, the championship is wide open between the top drivers there, especially when you take into consideration the points that Front Row Racing DP should have had for his Monaco win. Unfortunately, YouTube decided to take those points away from him and make the racing season a little bit more interesting for us. So I want a quick check.
Why do you and you forget about China with me?
Because you're the champion.
Yeah, that wasn't this season, was it? Or was it?
Yeah.
Did you win?
I can't remember.
Well, there we go. It doesn't matter.
Corrupted anyway, so I've got no points.
Yeah. Well, anyway, moving on. I just want to check once more with Ray if Mr. Hamilton had anything else to say before we finish off with the podium, guys.
Sounds like a no to me.
Ray, if you're talking, you forgot to take your mute button off again.
I'm going to have to get off.
Yeah, well done to the podium drivers then. Thank you very much and well done, and we'll see you again next week.
Cheers, guys. Well done.
Well done.
Cheers.
See you later.
See you later.
Ray, are you with us? I think we've lost Ray as well, you know. So that puts us...
Saying no to Ray.
Yeah, it is. So that's left us to just me and Adam. So, question of the day, Adam, was favourite circuits. Did we have many comments about... I might as well quickly mention this while all the drivers that have just finished the race are listening in. We had a question of the day, and it is, what circuit is your favourite circuit on the F1 race calendar? So, and why? My personal one is Spa. Adam, I think you said Spa.
Yeah, it was tight between Spa and Monza, but yeah, early on in the live stream we had someone say Belgium because it's Jenson Button's favourite track. That was by Charles Hall, and Hindle said Suzuka because it's quick and flowing circuit. And I used to like Suzuka, but I just can't deal with the first sector. It's too difficult for me.
Too difficult. It goes right, left, right, left, right, left, and then that's the right, and that's the end of the sector.
I know, it's too difficult for me. Right,
Yeah.
right, left. There you go. I don't even know that. We got Hammer Time 44. His favourite track is China. No reason why, but when you got some speed like Hammer Time 44, you can drive anywhere and enjoy it.
Very true, very true. Well, I think it's time we tie things up here. We'll just finish off by saying this is Front Row Racing World Championship. If you want to find any information about what we do, come and find us on Facebook. Send us a message if you're interested in joining, and we'll explain to you all about the Front Row Racing. I was just being put off there by being rejoined by Front Row Racing DP. Good evening. Yes. For the guys that want to join, we have our Fridays Cup, the FRRI days. That's where the guys come through. Guys such as It's Hammer Time and it's I keep getting these mixed up. Mr. Hamilton 44. Yeah, and many others that are in the league as well have come through from that series. So if you are interested, send us some messages on Facebook. So thank you very much to everybody that's been watching, and I've been Front Row Racing GP. He's been Front Row Racing RI, and the other one has been Front Row Racing NW. So good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, depending on what time you're watching this. See you later. Bye bye. Catch you later.